Hello everyone and welcome back to another video on my channel. Today's video is going to be the 5th update on my Pheidole megacephala. This colony has had some pretty big setup changes since the last update, as you can see. Here is the small box formicarian that I connected up a few updates back. You can see queen Alate larvae there. This is huge because this means that they're going to be getting new queens and also means the colony is going to be growing way larger and way faster than it has before. Once the queens get mated and, stop being larvae, of course. An interesting thing about Alate larvae is that you can easily tell it apart from major larvae and minor larvae. Back before they got Alate larvae, I was thinking that major larvae was Alate larvae, which now that I'm seeing Alate larvae, it's very clear to tell the difference. As you can see, they look more almost like orbs than they do larvae. This nest also holds the vast majority of brood of the colony. I think it's because this nest gets the most heat and is also the most hydrated at the moment of that recording. And this is the Petri dish nest, which I also like to call the Queen's Chamber. Even though the queens aren't actually in this nest at the moment, normally whenever I check in the colony, usually they're in this nest no matter what. Sometimes they move around in between all three of the nests like normal. I mean, I expect them to. But for right now, I don't know why, but I guess they want to prove me wrong. This is normally the nest that they like to stay in. I think they like to treat this as a queen's chamber, but right now it seems like they're just using it to store queen Alate and probably male Alate larvae and a little bit of pupae. This nest is very, very barren at the moment, and I think it's because they're just using the other nest as like their main brood chamber. And this is the third nest. This nest is the largest nest out of all of them, being about 6 inches by 6 inches, and yet is the least used. This nest is mostly used just to keep workers and majors, but sometimes they put brood in there, as you could see. On the day of me recording this, the queens were actually probably in this nest, because in all the other nests, they weren't, in them. Uh, in this nest in particular, it's very hard to spot the queens because they are normally hiding within these little holes and crevices that are throughout this nest, like this very, very deep crevice here. You can see the majors just sort of ripping at the sand and just sort of destroying all the sand. It's kind of made a massive mess throughout the nest. If I ever need to flip it over or something, all that sand goes straight to the top and it gets stuck for a while. There you can see the tubing that leads into the Outworld, or the second Outworld that I just connected a few days ago. They are producing, as you can see, they are eating the mealworm. There we go. Here's the Outworld that you can see. I've been feeding them a lot now, around about 13 to 14 mealworms and however many crickets that I can throw at them. Honestly, I don't even have a set feeding. I just sort of start throwing mealworms and food at them, and it seems to be working very well. As you can see, they are processing some cricket there and some mealworm as well. They love both of these proteins, but they seem to really like to favor the crickets, seeing as they literally rip them apart limb by limb, as you can see with that major carrying around that cricket leg. I've also been feeding them lots and lots of honey, but in this time I wasn't really feeding them any honey because of the protein night. I kind of put them side by side. And that is pretty much all I have for this video. Like if you liked it, subscribe if you want to. Don't really have to. I hope you liked watching this. I'm going to leave you off here with a few minutes of a time lapse I took of them the night of me recording this. I hope you enjoy, and have fun. Okay, if you're still watching, that was a fake ending. I forgot that I normally put in this shot where I just sort of show the entire setup. This is the entire setup of the megacephala. This was very rushed. There's also escaped workers there. Just ignore them. Have a good day. Do what I said last time. Go ahead and do that. Bye.